Hi Ruth, thank you so much for joining me today, agreeing to have our little kind of mini interview so that we can add it into our replay for everybody. So for those that attended last week, I'm sure they're really, really keen to find out more about your particular project and why you decided to crowdfund. So could you explain a little bit what the project is all about?
Yes, so I run a project called Transition Streets, and we work with groups of neighbours to support them to tackle the climate crisis, the cost of living crisis, and issues of loneliness. And the way it works is we get 6 to 8 neighbours together, and then we support them with a handbook of different topics. So they look at how they can reduce energy bills, looking at travel, food, water, and resource use. And it has amazing results. One of the most amazing things particularly is the way that it brings people together and they feel more secure, safe, connected in their community. And a lot of people who maybe have lived in their street for 10, 20 years and didn't know anyone now feel like they've got people they can call on. So when you've got crises, it's so important to be part of a community. So it helps build community and all these other things. Yeah, cutting carbon, saving money. It does it all.
Amazing, and so important, especially after the last couple of years. I think that really highlighted to a lot of people just how important it is to have a support network and community around them, didn't it, really? We were all kind of searching for that, I think, a little bit within our neighbourhoods. Why did you decide to crowdfund? Was there a particular incentive, or it's just something that you might have had experience of before?
No, didn't have experience before. There was a bit within our organisation. So last year, the Totnes Climate Hub, which is linked to Transition Town Totnes, who I work for, they crowdfunded successfully to launch the Climate Hub in Totnes. It came about because we've got a temporary fundraiser, and she saw the opportunity with Aviva Community Fund. Amazing. So the way it works with that relationship with you is Aviva employees are match funding the crowdfund, so it's really great. We've got people who are donating £25 from who work for Aviva. So we saw that, we thought, we applied, so there's an application process, and we were really pleased to get through. So we hadn't actually thought about crowdfunding before that point, but that opportunity came up, and we had a very short window to apply. So we thought, well, we've got to go for this. We're coming to the end of the current phase of our project, and we really need to have some money to be able to continue and expand what we're doing. So we're hoping to reach out right across to the UK. We've got demand for the project everywhere in the UK. So that's what we're trying to do.
Amazing. And have you found the process, you said, it's quite a quick turnaround, and you got involved with the Aviva Community Fund, which at that point, you'd put in an application and become part of a cohort. So it's all very structured in terms of creating a time frame for you. Did you find that difficult, or what things have worked best and what things did you find a little bit harder?
It was a little bit stressful because there was only about a week turnaround between finding out about the opportunity and getting the application in, and then we only had 2 weeks to prepare the campaign. But that was good in a way, I think, because it really focused our minds. I think if we'd had much longer, we wouldn't have necessarily done a better job. We just really threw everything at it. So it was a little bit stressful, that preparation period, and not having that long to prepare. But yeah, then we really went for it. And I think you just asked what was difficult and what was good. The uncertainty, I guess, through the process has been a little bit challenging, whereby you talk about this a lot. At the beginning of the project, you get a lot of interest, and then it sort of drops off, and you've got this dip in the middle. It's a bit, oh, what's happening? How can we? And just having to constantly be on it and keeping up the content and the social media and continuing to contact people and keeping the energy going. That is quite challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's been good fun, actually. I've quite enjoyed it. It's nice to get a new skill, isn't it? I think, and then putting the video together. And what has been really great is it's allowed us to make contacts with people that we didn't know about before, or we've got a lot of interest in the campaign now from various places that could be really beneficial for us. So potential partners.
That's really positive. So that's all those added benefits we talk about and things like the webinars, and also, again, keeping it quite short, because it is really exciting, but it can be quite it takes over, doesn't it? It's going to be your main focus. So if you're doing that for a very long amount of time, that's going to be quite draining. Whereas to kind of keep that high energy going, we recommend quite a short campaign, which the Aviva Community Fund is as well. We kind of keep you all into quite a short time frame. You've actually received funding from a couple of different partners, haven't you? So you've had the Aviva Community Fund Match Fund. And would you like to tell us who else you've received money from? And was that a relatively straightforward application when it comes to applying for extra funds?
Yes, so we are also receiving funding through the Local Action Fund from the National Emergencies Committee, I think they're called.
National Emergencies Trust, but yeah.
National Emergencies Trust, yeah. So that is amazing because they are match funding our donations every donation up to £250. So it's really, really valuable. So every time we get £20 come in, there's immediately another £20 coming in from them, which is making it all look really much healthier than it would have done otherwise. And the application itself was, it was pretty straightforward. It didn't take too long. We already had the information at our fingertips from doing other applications and putting together the crowdfund campaign. So that was pretty simple, and we heard quite quickly. So yeah, great bonus.
Awesome. So we I think I mentioned it in the webinar, but just to reiterate as well for people watching this, we always recommend applying for any additional funds, so our extra funds we call them. So even if people have been matched, 3 or 4 or 5 different funding partners, if they're eligible and they kind of hit the criteria, and their organizational structure is eligible and all those kind of things, to put in multiple applications for different funding pots, because you can receive, it's kind of limitless really as to the different pots of money that they can receive. And also, really good point just about having all that information at your fingertips for those organizations that might not have that, to actually create the application answers and put them onto maybe a Word document or something, so that it becomes more of a copy and paste exercise. Just because worst case, you're halfway through the application and for some reason, your power goes, your internet goes, whatever, and you've lost everything. Always have a bit of a backup is a really good piece of advice, which we've heard from a few different project owners actually, to just make sure that they've got it all somewhere to hand. But it sounds like you guys did, which is brilliant. And just quickly, you mentioned briefly there some of the additional benefits. So other than obviously that financial raise, would you say crowdfunding definitely had additional benefits? You mentioned more awareness of the campaign and things like that. Has it been beneficial in those kind of aspects, actually putting a campaign together and doing a crowdfunder, as opposed to maybe doing some kind of grant bid writing and things like that, where you might not have had that kind of public promotion, if you like?
Yeah, I think so. I think putting it together has also enabled us to think about how we present the project, and we've drawn together useful infographics, and we've got a big bank of images now that we can use in our social media, so that's been really useful, and it's made us think a lot more about the storytelling, which is so important to fundraising. And there's another opportunity that you know about, where you invited me to a webinar last week, and as a result, Aviva have invited me to the House of Commons to talk about the project there. So unfortunately it clashes with the Queen's funeral, so it's been postponed. But yeah, the opportunity to be able to talk to MPs and peers and other charities will be really, really beneficial. So it's really raised our profile that way.
That's brilliant. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Feedback to us and let us know how it goes. Pop an update on your page as well. Pop an update on your project page, and then people that are supporting you will be able to check back in. It's a great way, actually. It's a brilliant tool post crowdfunder to keep updating, and then your supporters and anybody that looks at your page will be able to keep tabs on what's going on, and you can keep people in the loop. It's a lovely way of keeping them along for the journey. What advice do you have, a golden piece of advice that you might give to people that would be watching today about starting a crowdfunder, the journey itself?
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that is most clear to me is the importance of reaching out to the people closest to you, your crowd. So when we started, we already had 30 people lined up to donate on the first day. So that was more than I think had been recommended, and it's really, really clear that the majority of people donating are people we know personally, or that we know through the project. So friends, family, great place to start. So I'd say that. And I'd also say maybe just to be a bit cheeky and just to try things. So we, a lovely colleague of mine, he wrote to the head of Ecotricity, Dale Vince, and we got 500 quid almost immediately through his PA. Yeah. So yeah, just put yourself out there and be brave, I think.
Amazing. That's really good advice. That's an awesome donation. Well done. And it is, I think people have a slight fear of self-promotion. You know, oh, I can't ask this, or, you know, I shouldn't bother that person. The worst case scenario is somebody say, thank you so much, but I can't support you. Best case, you'll have an outcome like that, or even, you know, being shared within their networks. There's a lot that people can do that isn't necessarily a financial contribution, but you're not going to know unless you put yourself out there. So yeah, be brave, be relentless sometimes as well.
Yeah, yes.
Amazing.
And we've got some great rewards as well, which has helped increase the donations too. Lots of really generous, some really inventive ones as well. Someone put on a games night. So people paid 20 quid or more and they had a games night with drinks and nibbles and stuff.
That's really nice. Experiences, they work well. Well, it's really exciting, and you're still live crowdfunding at the moment. So we're us here at Crowdfunder are watching it all happen, and you're doing so well. And it's a really great inspirational crowdfunding journey for those that are looking to get involved in crowdfunding. Because like you say, it was a short turnaround, but you've done the work and it's paid off, and it's evident to see. So well done you, and good luck with it all.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll get this sent out to everybody that was in attendance, and hopefully it will help inspire those to start their journeys as well.
Great. Okay, thanks so much, Zoe.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.